Hey everyone, my name's Elo Bandit, and this is the 4th episode of my series on Pokemon Gimmicks. Today I'll be talking about another strategy for OU doubles, Soak Discharge. The basic principle is pretty simple. You use the move Soak on all your opponents to make them water types, and spam Discharge to hit everything super effectively. If you want to make this work properly, you should have 2 Soakers and 4 Dischargers, due to the fact that Dischargers go down faster and are focused more. Here are some viable Soakers and Dischargers. Seeking is an obvious choice. It hits a respectable 387 speed with the Choice Scarf, which is necessary to outspeed both your enemies and your Dischargers. It's got the ability Lightning Rod, which makes it immune to Discharge and all other electric moves, and raises its special attack, which we don't really care about since it'll be Scarf locked into Soak. On the off chance that you come in and don't want to Soak, you have access to Toxic, Icy Wind, Scald, or Knockoff. Lan-turn is just a little bit slower than Seeking, but it's also bulkier. With a Scarf, it'll still outpace all of your Dischargers. Lan-turn is perfect for this team, since it gets both Soak and Discharge, meaning it can act as a Discharger in a pinch. I also run Hidden Power Grass, and Ice Beam or Toxic. Lan-turn also has Volt Absorb, which heals it when it gets hit by Discharge. Though other Pokemon learn Soak, Lan-turn and Seeking are the 2 best because they have nothing to fear from being hit by Discharge. Thunderous Therian is my favorite Discharger because he's very fast, hits very hard, and has access to Grass Knot, Taunt, and Volt Switch alongside Discharge. I prefer Life Orb, but Choice Specs also work. Raikou is another good Discharger. He's a little bit faster and bulkier than Thunderous, although he doesn't hit quite as hard. He has access to Aura Sphere, Hidden Power Grass, and Extrasensory alongside Discharge. I find that Choice Specs work the best, but Life Orb and Air Balloon both work too. Mega Manectric is faster than both Raikou and Thunderous T, and has access to Discharge, Magnet Rise, the Hidden Powers, and Flamethrower. Hidden Power Ice is good for taking out things like Landorus, Gliscor, Garchomp, whereas Flamethrower is really good at taking out things like Ferrothorn, Scizor, and Forretress. Magnet Rise and Volt Switch are both options, but you have to be careful when using Volt Switch that your Lightning Rod doesn't absorb it. Jolteon may not hit the hardest, but it's the fastest user of Discharge, and it's good for taking out speedy targets. You can run Air Balloon, Life Orb, Choice Specs, or a Choice Scarf if you just want speed and don't care about outpacing your Soaker. Rotom Wash and Rotom Mow, though they don't hit as hard or as fast as those previously mentioned, are both worth considering. Rotom Wash has awesome coverage and can surprise foes with Sucker Punch. Rotom Mow has Leaf Storm, meaning he can hit those pesky enemy Lightning Rods and Volt Absorbers without a problem. Choice Specs, Life Orb, and Leftovers are all viable options. Also keep in mind that the Rotoms get Levitate, which can be really useful against fast enemy Earthquakers. Electros is definitely worth mentioning. It can viably run a physical, special, or mixed set. It has huge coverage and access to knockoff. Electros is also good to deal with special walls like Eviolite Chansey, and functions as a switch into ground-type moves. Life Orb is probably the best choice for Electros. Lastly, honorable mention goes to Superior. While it can't learn Discharge, its contrary Leaf Storm absolutely decimates water types. Choice Specs are probably the best option here in my opinion, and another cool thing is you're a grass type, so you resist ground, which is very important to this team made up of electric types. In practice, you can lead with a Soaker and a Discharger. I prefer starting with Thunderous since he can taunt any opposing setup. You soak the Pokemon that resists electric the most, and then hit Discharge, hopefully netting a KO or 2. If not, soak the other Pokemon and do it again. Keep repeating this until your Soaker goes down, your Discharger goes down, or your opponent sends in a Volt Absorber. If your Lan-turn goes down, send in Seeking, or vice versa. If your Thunderous goes down, send in whoever you think is appropriate based on your enemy's remaining hit points, typing, abilities, and offense. If your opponent has an ability that makes them immune to electric attacks, use Grass Knot, Hidden Power Grass, or Leaf Storm. If you see this strategy and want to counter it, the easiest way is to disable the Soakers. Use Taunt to stop them using Soak. Use Knockoff to get rid of their Choice Scarfs. Hit them hard with Grass or other high-powered moves. The Dischargers are going to be a lot less effective without Soak support. Here's an example battle showing just how devastating this strategy can be. Overall, this gimmick has a medium to high potential based on how weak your opponent's team is to it. If they have a lot of specially frail Pokemon or a lot of flying and water types, this strategy will decimate them. If they have a lot of special tanks and ground types, it'll still hurt, but not as much. This strategy doesn't have standard setup like most gimmicks, it's just a constant set 'em up, spike 'em down combo. Countering this strategy is completely dependent on team. If you have the capabilities to knock out the soakers, great. If not, that's too bad, the discharges are gonna hurt. Overall, is this strategy viable? Yes, it's very easy and fun to pull off, with devastating results almost immediately.